Once you learn to visualize correctly, you become a magnet for your desires. Now, 99% of people visualize incorrectly, which is the reason why, no matter how much you do these exercises and techniques, nothing ever seems to materialize. But a man named Eugene Fersen, over 100 years ago, wrote a book that was so deep and so insightful that it was able to describe using your own energetic anatomy, the invisible parts of yourself, to visualize and create reality. Now, if you do what I'm about to show you in this video, you are going to become a magnet for your desires. Literally, the things that you need to see and the things that you need to do will become so incredibly clear to materialize the things that you have desired. Now, this has nothing to do with hoping or praying, but actually plays into a part of what Eugene Fersen referred to as your energetic system. He saw everything as energy and matter that we see as being a consequence of that. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about how he described this visualization technique, what I've noticed from doing this technique for the last 6 months, and how you can apply it to your own life. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. So visualization, the way you've probably heard about visualization is painting a picture in your mind. And if you've gone a step further and you've read some Neville Goddard, you've probably been told to also feel as if you already have those things, which are in of themselves very effective steps you can take to begin materializing your reality. But there's a step that's often overlooked that Eugene Fersen talked about in his book, Science of Being. And this has to do with the subconscious mind and what you're actually putting into it. Now, the process of visualization that he describes is first using your heart. And what he means by using your heart is feeling into a desire, feeling what it is that you actually want to create. Now, science is beginning to catch up with many of these methods because the HeartMath Institute has actually done studies on the heart itself that has found that the heart has some strange abilities that's able to tap into fields of knowledge that are outside of the human body, and some fields of knowledge that are even beyond time and space. Now, the whole field of study is done by HeartMath Institute, and they found that the heart has this ability to access this field that has 5,000 times more dense information that can be compared to that can be received by the brain. So when you feel into your desire, you're aligning with the sense of truth. You're aligning with the sense of universal laws. And even ancient Hermetic principles state that everything starts from the heart. From the heart, you go to the mind. And so when you're in this state of visualization, you first have to get into a state of relaxation and silence, because that will allow you to access or feel into these desires. More often than not, you're crowded by so much crap and stimulation throughout the day that it can be hard to focus on what it is you actually truly want. So Eugene Fersen first starts by saying, get into a room alone quietly, in a silent area where you can be alone undisturbed for at least 10 minutes. And you sit there, and he suggests that you put your left palm up and your right palm down. And the reason why he says this is the left side of your body in many energetic practices, whether you're looking at Qigong, Tai Chi, any of these energetic practices, they look at receiving energy from the left side of the body. Now remember, everything is energy, and matter is just condensed energy. Everything that we see, feel, touch around us with our 5 senses is a consequence of being condensed into different forms of energy. So Eugene's solution was, why not make contact with the energy itself, which he refers to and many other traditions refer to as universal life force energy. And so you have your left palm up and your right palm down, and it creates a sort of circuit or a sense of receptivity to this energy. And in this state, you're going to tune into your body and feel where the tension is in your body. Because when you're in a tense state, and medicine even shows us when you're in a sympathetic or activated state, a stressed out state, you literally close off your peripheral nervous system. You literally close off the resources that go to your fingertips. And this works on an energetic level as well. And so when you actually get into a state of relaxation, you open your nervous system up, you get into a state that's called parasympathetic state, which is a real medical state that you're actually in. and your body relaxes and you become more receptive to bigger ideas, to your intuition. You have a greater sensing ability. So when you're in this state of relaxation, you've probably tuned into your body a little bit. You see where the tension is, you begin to relax, and then you bring your attention to your mind. And now your mind is the tricky one, because in the mind, there are many open thought loops that happen, right? You're overstimulated all throughout the day. Most people are. And because of that, you're not actively thinking about your desires or what you've been visualizing or actively working towards consciously throughout the day. Instead, you're probably thinking about feeding the dog or the kids. You're thinking about running into that, grumpy neighbor that on your way home from work. You're thinking about the guy that just cut you off in traffic. And when you're thinking like this, your brain is in a state called beta state. And this state of being doesn't allow you to tap into any of this stuff. And so this is why you want to get into a state of mental silence. And the way you do this is just by observing. You observe your thoughts. Now, Eckhart Tolle said something one time that I was watching one of his videos that really made me think about what that actually means, because so oftentimes thoughts come up when you're meditating and you want them to just go away, right? Because you crave that silence. You have a mind that craves silence. And what Eckhart Tolle says is think up here and just ask yourself, because you're an observer, what is my next thought going to be? And the minute you ask yourself that, you'll realize that no thoughts will show up, because you in that moment realize you are observing all these things. And these thoughts are no longer yours. You're not taking responsibility for any of them. So when you're in a state of physical and mental relaxation. Now, what Eugene Fersen says is now your mind is a blank canvas. Your mind is where you can create things and put things together. And when you have a blank canvas, you can create or recreate any image, anything that it is you desire. Now imagine anything that was created around you. This pen, this desk, this camera that I'm shooting on right now was all created first through someone's imagination. They visualized it. So what you're going to do is you're going to imagine in every possible detail the thing it is that you desire with all of your heart. The thing that you're like, I hardly ever think about this during the day, but in this state of silence, that little intuitive voice comes up. I get that desire towards having something. Now, desire in of its own, if you just desire things and never take action towards it, is one of the bigger sins that you can commit in this lifetime, okay? There's no point desiring anything and not moving towards it. You create a lot of excess potential and problems in your life when you do that. Instead, you want to actually paint this picture in every vivid detail in your mind up here in this moment, in this rare moment of silence. Really think about every detail that makes up this visual identity, that makes up the visual blueprint or imprint of what it is you desire. If it's 100,000 followers on YouTube, you imagine yourself opening up that box with that plaque. If it's a certain kind of sports car that you want, if it's you leaving your job for good, if it's a new revenue goal, you visualize it. You visualize yourself as being that and create a vivid mental picture of a specific scenario where you've already achieved that. Now, this is where most visualization stops. They say, you felt it, you visualized it, you're good. But Eugene Fersen takes it a step further. He says all energy follows two main laws, motion and attraction, and things need to be directed. Think of your attention as a resource, but your focus, when you focus it on something specific, as being the direction you send it into. Now, what you're going to do here is once you've created this vivid mental picture, you're going to imagine this vivid mental picture traveling down into an organ of your body that is extremely intelligent, that is known as the subconscious mind, and it lives in your solar plexus. This is why we call it a gut feeling, because you have a part of your mind that operates through a felt sense through your body and has many nerves running through your body to feed you this information. And science is now even showing that certain memories can be stored in specific organs in your gut. Your gut microbiome actually gets affected by depression and vice versa. Your gut microbiome can influence the mind into a state of depression. And so this, no doubt, is being confirmed as your gut having a sort of gut intelligence or gut brain. So your gut brain is very receptive to getting these suggestions because it is your subconscious mind. Now, when you actually have this vivid mental picture, what Eugene Fersen says is you project downwards this vivid mental picture and imagine it plunging down into the depths of your subconscious mind. You can think of your subconscious mind even as being a garden where you have all kinds of weeds and crap growing everywhere, but also a garden where you can plant the seeds of which you desire. They'll plant and eventually grow into the very things that you desire, the desirable fruits in your life. Now, most of us don't guard our subconscious minds. We just let anything in there, especially right before you go to bed and right when you wake up. These are the most receptive times of your subconscious mind because your brain is just coming out of something called a theta state, which is the state you're in deep rest, silent meditation, and sleep. So when you're in these states, you become very suggestive. And actually, from the ages of 0 to 5 as a child, you're in this theta state almost constantly. You're a sponge. Children are sponges for absorbing and building up their subconscious minds. So this is a very powerful area of your body. Now, this is what I noticed after doing this for 6 months. I would do this every night. I still do it. Part of with all these techniques is don't make it a ritual, because as soon as you make it a ritual, as if like I don't visualize enough, I'm not going to get my thing, now you're actually giving your power away. You're putting excess importance on these things. And it's not the visualization that's going to get you what you want, because I'll explain here how it affected me. When I would do this every night, and I would paint this vivid mental picture of what it is I actually desire, and I plunged it down into my subconscious mind, something interesting would begin happening in the following days, weeks, and months. I began to widen my perception. Certain opportunities would just almost seem to find me. I would see opportunities, I would see situations that are directly related to that desire. They're almost so uncanny, so strange sometimes. And the reality of this is those things were always there. But the subconscious mind is a hall of records, but it's also very receptive to what you suggest to it. So our subconscious minds are continuously, passively absorbing things and reflecting them back to us in our reality. This is part of the mirror principle. But at the same time, we can be the conscious creators by suggesting to it and making it work for us and making it help us find us the things that we need, almost magnetically attracting it to us to create our desires to be true, to actually bring things into our reality. Now, just because something is brought into your reality doesn't actually mean it can actually manifest in your reality, because at the end of this, you still have to take action. And this is where courage is necessary. You need to have the courage to trust your intuition, to trust the work that you've done, and to trust the subconscious mind and recognize these things as an opportunity. Because if you get that feeling that this thing is aligned with you, that this is the thing you need to do to make this happen, and then self-doubts and fears come up, now you've created another sin for yourself. You're now operating from a lower state of frequency. Even though your subconscious mind is trying to help you, bro, it's trying to bring things to you, and you just need to take action towards it. Now, that is one of the biggest traps, is you'll actually do this technique. You'll be almost scared or freaked out by the uncanny situations that show up in your life, the opportunities that do, the misaligned things that almost seem to fall away out of your life, and then you won't take action towards it. And this demands your courage. David Hawkins says the biggest leap you can do in the map of consciousness that will flip the way energy moves towards you versus away from you is courage. As soon as you rise above to the level of courage, energy, opportunities, the ability to sustain and move forward flips in your favor. But below that, you almost create a negative momentum moving in the other way. And this is why they call it the downward spiral. Now, this all ties together, but it starts with this visualization exercise, and you'll see how things move closer to you. And before you realize it, you'll be exactly where you visualized yourself to be. Don't make it excessively important. Do this at once every now and then, and observe your reality and keep your eye open for when these things come a little closer to you, and then take action towards them. My life is drastically better for it, even after the year I've been doing this. And I'm curious what your experiences are with this. And if you want to do this type of exercise together, figure out where your subconscious blocks are, finally take action towards the thing that you've been putting off shipping to put something real out in the world. I'm doing a Stay Lucid challenge just next week. It starts on Wednesday. You can grab your tickets down below. And until next time, I hope we get to hang out. Until next time, stay lucid. Peace.